Today I'm going to show you how you can finish more music than ever before. Check out my new t-shirt. Bruce Lee DJing because it's almost Christmas. Hey guys, it's Will from EDM Tips, and today I'm going to share with you my 7 steps for getting your music finished and out of your hard drive graveyard. This is a huge problem for most producers. We have loads of ideas on our hard drives and they just kind of stay on the hard drive graveyard, and we so often fail to finish them. Now, finishing music is super important because 1, if you don't finish music, then you can never release it or play it to anyone, so that's no good. And 2, the more music that you finish, especially when you're starting out, obviously the more experience you get and the better your music production skills will get faster. So if you produce 1 track every 6 months, obviously you're not going to improve as fast as someone producing and finishing 3 or 4 tracks per month. And finishing is super important because you learn discipline and you learn every part of the process of producing music, so you're not just like jamming out an 8-bar loop and then leaving it on your hard drive to die a dark death. I've got my notes here. Don't forget, if you like this video, subscribe and like and all of that good stuff. Okay, 1. Set goals, and I mean goals based on production rather than outcomes. Now let me explain that. Outcomes are very hard to control. So if you say, oh okay, I want to get signed to Spinning Records within the next 6 months, yes, you can achieve that if you are at a certain level, but obviously you don't have all the control over the outcome of that because it depends on the person or people that listen to your music, whether they've got any space in their roster for the release anyway, and lots of different things that you don't have control over. When you set goals for production, so for instance, I want to produce 2 tracks this month or 4 tracks this month, you have complete control over that, barring an act of God like a car gets blown by a tornado into your face or something. But generally speaking, you've got maximum control over what you do, what actions you take. So number 1 is set goals that are based on your production rather than on the outcomes of that production. So that's number 1. Number 2 is time block or timetable. And this is basically where you put time aside in your calendar specifically for music production. And then once you've got that timetabled in, treat it as you would a job or a first date, so nothing gets into that time. So if you've kind of set aside from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. 4 days a week or 5 days a week, don't stay out too late drinking the night before. Don't say to someone you're going to go meet them at the gym at 6:30 in the morning because 1, that's unholy and you shouldn't do it anyway, and 2, it's going to eat into your super important time block. You don't have to time block a lot of time, even between 5 and 10 hours a week. If you can time block that amount of time for producing music, you can get really good in like a year or 2. You don't need to put aside, 8 hours a day, 4 days a week. You just don't need that much time. And actually, it can damage your skills because then you're not working as quickly and effectively or efficiently as you otherwise would. Okay, number 3 is to split your time blocks into what Ill Gates calls day sessions and night sessions. Day or night doesn't actually have anything to do with it, but basically if you have sessions where you are going through your sample collections, maybe watching YouTube videos like this, and then your day sessions would be simply and purely producing. So you don't do tutorials, you don't sort out your samples, you've just got your production head on, and that's what you do. So it's basically prep sessions and production sessions. Now, I like to maybe assign about a quarter of the time to prep sessions and then 3/4 of the time to production sessions. That seems to be a good ratio. So yeah, that's number 3. Number 4 then. Number 4 is remove distractions. So that means no Facebook, no mobile phone, no YouTube videos, as I said, no nothing. Just leave your phone in another room in the house, or like my studio's in the garden, so I leave the phone in my house completely away, and then apart from now because I'm actually reading the notes from it. But the idea is to completely disconnect yourself from the outside world for that 3 to 4 hour session if you've got that much time. But basically you want to remove distractions. Disconnect from the internet if you can. Obviously, if you're using plugins that are authorized via the internet, that's going to be a bit hard. You can use tools like Facebook Blocker to stop the newsfeed. It's called Newsfeed Eradicator actually. as a Chrome extension. Basically anything that you can to remove distractions. Get drinks, get snacks in there so you don't have to leave the studio to go to the kitchen. Whatever it is, just do it. Remove those distractions. Now, before we go any further, drop me a comment below this video and let me know what's the best track finishing technique that you ever know. And before you just say, stop watching YouTube videos, you're right. I agree with you. Okay, number 5 is produce, and this could be split into 3 separate stages. You've got the composition and the production, the sound design. That's all kind of the first stage, what I call the music production stage. So just focus on that and don't move on to the mixing stage or the mastering stage until you've done that music production. You've got your idea down, you've arranged it into a track and it's sounding good before you move on to the mixing stage or the mastering stage. Now, sometimes the lines get a bit blurred. You might do a little bit of mixing in the music production stage, but my advice is not to get in the weeds, lost in the weeds with surgical EQ and all that stuff. Leave that for the mixing stage because this is the most efficient and effective way of producing. Number 6 is work fast. Now, this means using things like lists. You can use a timer on your smartphone, and it is a case of writing down what needs doing and then just working through that list. And if you've got the initial impetus and the excitement of starting a new track, if you can get that track written quicker, then it's going to have more heart and soul in it. You're not going to get bored of it, and basically working fast is just the best way to do it. You've got infinite options for every single track that you produce, infinite. And it's all about making decisions, and the faster you can teach yourself to make those decisions, the more music you're going to get finished quicker than ever before. And number 7, and this is a really big one, this is super useful, it's accountability. So for me, when I'm working with someone, like with a partner, a production partner, or I'm doing a remix or mastering or mixing for a label, the very fact that I have external systems in place, i.e. deadlines, other people relying on me, this means that, again, I have to make these decisions faster. So if you can build some kind of accountability, then you're not going to be spending 8 hours choosing a hi-hat sample or whatever. So external systems that help you make decisions, it's some kind of accountability. Like, for instance, in the EDM Tips community, we have accountability, especially on my 8-week course where we've got coaching and things like this. So every week there's a time when people have to submit their homework. They know they need to get it that time if they want to get feedback. And there are other people kind of keeping them on their toes. So if you can find some sort of external accountability, this is going to really, really help. For me, this is, you know, if I don't have some kind of external accountability, I still struggle to finish music. So anything you can do to get that accountability, you know, Facebook groups, the EDM Tips Academy, you know, just a friend even, or a studio production partner, just try and get that baked into your workflow. And the biggest thing of all, remember, watching videos on YouTube is not producing music. So obviously this is against my interests because I run a YouTube channel. But as I say, if you are watching YouTube videos, try and keep them separate. In fact, don't try, just do it. Keep them separate from your music production sessions. Those are sacrosanct, because if you don't respect those music production sessions, you aren't going to finish your music and you won't be able to achieve your music production dreams. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to get it right this time. Where is the subscribe thing? It's down there, isn't it? Is it that side or is it that side? Let me just think. No, it's that side. Don't forget to subscribe right here. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, cheers and happy producing.